Just kidding. What's up, Airsofters? Have you ever found yourself wondering, AK, M4, AK, M4? Worry no more, my friends. This is the CYMA AR47 AEG, beautifully combining all that makes the M4 amazing with an AK magazine. But let's get into the history of this awesome looking rifle. In the early 2000s, the Knights Armament Company won a contract with the US military to manufacture a drop-in set of parts that could be used with existing M16 and M4 platforms to use captured insurgent 7.62 by 39 ammunition and AK magazines. The gun was dubbed at the time as the SR47 for Stoner Rifle 47. The platform was designed extremely well, but ultimately the ammo and magazines captured from opposing forces were too old and damaged to be reliable in combat. So the program was canceled, and ultimately less than 10 SR47s were ever made. Fast forward to 2015, and several firearm manufacturers resurrected the idea of using the SR47 as the AR47. Its appeal is that you get to shoot the hard-hitting 7.62 by 39 cartridge while enjoying all of the modern comforts, customizations, and adjustability of the AR-15 design. And it added the benefit of using very reliable, easy-to-find AK magazines. The SR47 concept is rather obscure to the average shooter. It's really only known by enthusiasts. However, it made a notable video game appearance in the hands of Barry Burton in the Resident Evil Revelations 2 series. It otherwise remains a rare sight in popular culture. And while the AR47 platform is not everybody's cup of tea, it's certainly something unique to have on the airsoft field. Let's talk about some of the awesome external features of the AR47 AEG. First, you'll notice that it has a full metal upper and lower receiver, as well as a full-length Picatinny rail up top for the attachment of accessories. They've also got a flip-up set of adjustable front and rear sights included right out of the box. Up front, there are a variety of handguards available with different accessory mounting options, including key mod like you see here, as well as M-LOK and your standard quad rail, in a variety of lengths as well, so you can really buy the one that fits your playstyle perfectly. Let's move to the lower receiver. Now, half of the lower receiver looks just like an AR-15 or M4. You've got your standard mag release, your standard select fire controls. I mean, heck, you've even got your standard charging handle with your adjustable hop-up that looks just like a version 2 hop-up. But the front of the receiver is really where you see the huge difference that the AR-47 makes. You've got a huge magazine up here that I can eject with either my AR-style mag release or with the thumb release just in front of the trigger guard. Fits AK mags perfectly, and because of the redesigned hop-up unit, it feeds beautifully as well. Quick couple notes, we found that during our testing that the Angel Custom drum mag and drum mags in general for the AK platform are not entirely compatible due to the cut on the mag well here. Feeds beautifully and fits AK mags beautifully, but if you plan on using a drum mag, this may not be the receiver for you. And finally, the select fire switch really only functions on the left-hand side or the standard side for an M4. This here is just for looks. Moving down from there, we've got a standard M4 pistol grip. This is your battery grip as well as an enlarged trigger guard. And finally, moving back, you've got a multi-position retractable stock with an excellent crane stock which holds your battery. Let's get a view of the battery compartment, which can be accessed by pulling down on the lever here and opening the back of the stock. By the way, really nice rubberized stock pad on the stock, but giving us access to the battery compartment, which would beautifully hold a nunchuck battery or a standard buffer tube battery. We recommend the Titan Power 7000 milliamp 7.4 volt lithium ion battery. They last forever, power this thing beautifully, and with the 10C discharge rate and 7,000 milliamps, you can run it on a gun that's pulling 70 amps. Even though this isn't, it'll run forever. You can also run a standard buffer tube sized battery. Just keep in mind that because of the CYMA quick change spring system that they're calling their QBS, that takes up a little bit of room in the buffer tube. So make sure if you are using a buffer tube battery that it's a little bit shorter than something that takes up the entire length of the buffer tube. Speaking of QBS, let's get into this quick change buffer system. CYMA's name for their quick change spring guide system is QBS, and unlike many of the quick change spring guides on the airsoft market, this one can be performed without removing the gearbox from the receiver itself. To do this, I'm not going to use any tools. I'm going to take the locking collar for the buffer tube and I'm going to loosen that. Once I've loosened that, I'm going to rotate the stock a quarter turn like so. I'm going to remove it, just like that. This little piece here, I'm going to unscrew like so. And you're going to want to keep your hand on the back side of it so that when the spring releases, it doesn't just jettison out of your buffer tube. Like so, and just like that, I've removed my QBS plunger and spring guide, which is a ball bearing spring guide, by the way. And I can go ahead and remove my AEG spring. Change my AEG spring, put my spring guide back in, and then tighten it, like so. Let's go ahead and reinsert my wiring into the buffer tube. Just like that. I'm going to place the stock back on. Once again, quarter turn. I'm going to retighten my locking collar while holding the stock vertical. And just like that, I've changed my AEG spring, changed FPS, and gone from outdoor to indoor airsoft without any tools. Let's see your airsoft gun do that. On top of the history that makes the AR47 really cool, the developments that CYMA has done to make this AEG what it is are really worth checking out. Let's head to the range. First things first, since you got an overwhelming amount of likes and comments about an audio test, we're going to start off doing the audio test. We're going to do a couple audio tests, the first being of the gearbox and motor grip assembly, and then we'll give you a levels for kind of the muzzle or what's coming out, and then maybe an overall. So let's go ahead and get right on in here with our microphone right on the gearbox and motor. Following up with that, let's get our microphone right at the end so you can get what the muzzle report is. Initial impressions, this thing's really comfortable. I mean, I'm used to shooting AR-15 or AR pattern rifles, so the controls are right at home for me. The only thing that's kind of interesting to get used to is ejecting the magazine AK style, but I find myself using the M4 style magazine to release the magazine anyway. I think outfitted with a short dot or a cool optic and maybe a vertical grip to give you a little bit more stability out on the front, this would be a really, really cool rifle. And it's not all that loud, so I think it'd be really easy to sneak up in a game and use this efficiently. Next up, we're going to be testing the FPS and rounds per second. To give you a perspective, we're actually using a Titan power battery in this bad boy. It's the 7.4 volt, 7,000 milliamp battery, so you can run this thing for days on end without it dying. Quick note about the lithium ion batteries from Titan Power. Make sure you're never going over about 1 amp of charge. It takes a little bit longer, but you're going to get the best battery life out of lithium ion batteries specifically. This doesn't necessarily apply to lithium polymer, but just a note on Titan Power batteries. We've got this thing filled with 0.20 gram BBs. We've got our chronos set up for 0.2s, just making sure here. 0.2 gram BBs. Let's give the FPS test first. And let's do an RPS shoot. Come on. So right about 370 FPS and right about 17 to 18 rounds per second. Now keep in mind, depending on the battery you use, you may have different results in terms of rounds per second, but the FPS will remain the same. And while this is a little overpowered for an indoor game where the requirements have a limit of 350 FPS, this would be a fantastic outdoor gun. With this barrel length and hop up from CYMA, you're talking about excellent range, even with something that doesn't shoot 400 FPS. So FPS does not equal distance. A good hop up, a well-tuned barrel and hop up bucking are gonna give you plenty of distance, and this does that beautifully. So we've lined up once again at our gun power testing range. This is a test, once again, that's gonna help us with precision and accuracy. It's not going to matter so much that I'm able to hit the bullseye, although that would be ideal. Really, we're going to be paying attention to how consistent the shots are between shots. Now keep in mind that this isn't a bench test, so we're not going to have an ultimately perfect accuracy or precision because your body moves as you're shooting. But to me, this is a more real-world representation of its accuracy and precision. I've set up my target paper in the shooting range target paper holder. I'm going to send that down range. And then we're going to start off. Ready. So as you can see, my target paper is lit, and we'll see a digital representation of my shooting right here on the screen. Eight, 4, 6, 8, 7, 8, 8, 6, 5, 7, game over. All right. So based on our results, it looks like the majority of the shots were, if I was aiming at the center, which I was, we had about 50% in the 7 circle, I guess you could say, and then a few were high. Now I haven't done any adjustments to the hop up or cleaned the barrel yet. So right out of the box, this is your performance. Our target is about 35 feet away, maybe 40 feet, 35 feet away. So at 35 feet with 2.0 gram BBs, with an unadjusted hop up and without any cleaning of the barrel or adjusted sights for that matter, that's kind of the spread we're looking at. Let's find out what it'll do on full auto. What do you say?
Ready. Game over.
Now, of course, that's just a snapshot, but on full auto, I'd say that he's probably dead. In case you were wondering what the first 10 looked like, right there on the screen. Here's some footage from the inside of the CYMA AR47. The QBS system makes this thing a breeze to take apart. The disassembly is very similar to an M4, and the gearbox is refreshingly free of any gimmicks. CYMA gets a lot of things right with this build. The shell has radius cuts and reinforcement up towards the front, and it comes with 8mm bearings that carry a full set of SHS gears. These gears are beefy and robust, and a really nice thing to see coming in a stock build. CYMA does go a little overboard on the amount of grease they use, but at least it's not bone dry. The piston has a polycarbonate body, but a full set of metal teeth. The last tooth is not removed, but it does have a ported aluminum piston head, and it feels really nice. The cylinder head is also made of aluminum, and has double O-rings for better air seal. The air nozzle does not have an O-ring, but CYMA's compression is still very good out of the box. The hop-up is the only funny bit of this build. Because it's a version 2 gearbox interacting with AK mags, this design is proprietary. The hop-up is metal, which is nice because if you get a little aggressive with your reloads, you won't be as likely to break your hop-up unit. The inner barrel is 395mm, which is longer than most standard M4s, and it has some really nice crowning on the muzzle end, which will help with accuracy. Overall, these internals are very solid, and it's really nice to see CYMA, a long-time and well-known manufacturer, really up their game and provide quality parts like this right out of the box. Good on you, CYMA. Well, that just about does it for the CYMA AR47 AEG. When you combine awesome features, a variety of handguard options, the AK mag on an AR platform, especially at this price point, you get a lot of bang for your buck. I love how ergonomic it is, easy to use, it maintains accuracy, and it performs extremely well with lithium-ion and lithium polymer batteries. I can't recommend this more highly, and if you'd like to pick one up, make sure you check it out right here at Evike.com. By the way, if you like what we're doing here on our videos and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click the like button, subscribe to the channel, maybe even click that bell icon to be notified when we do a new video, and comment in the section below telling us what product you'd like to see next or how we can improve these videos even more. See you guys later.